I've gotten multiple requests to do some simple disassembly and cleaning videos of different firearms. So we're going to start here with a run-of-the-mill 9mm full-size pistol. And what we have to work with is a CZ P-09 in 9mm. So I'll show you guys a little bit about it and then how to take it apart and clean it. So the first thing that you want to do, of course, is go ahead and check your firearm before you do any kind of cleaning. Make sure there's no rounds. You can see there's not a magazine and there's nothing here in the chamber. And it's always good just to keep your ammo off the table when you're working. So first off, I like to start with the magazines. Just kind of wipe them off with a cloth. Just simply wipe off what you got. Check the follower. Make sure there's nothing in there. Wipe it off. And do the next magazine. Just wipe off a little bit of nasty stuff that we got on there. They don't typically get too dirty. Then we'll go ahead and take the pistol down. It's pretty easy to do. A lot of CZs are similar, and what you'll do on a CZ is line up the takedown notches. There's one up here on the slide and one on the frame. You can cock the hammer back and then line up those two notches, and you're going to push out the takedown lever from the back of the handgun, which is right here. I like to use just the end plate of a magazine because it's easy. So we'll slide that back, give it a little push so it pops out the front here, and then while still putting a little bit of pressure, pull out the takedown lever or pin right there. And then you can drop the hammer and pull the slide off of the gun. See, I pulled the trigger to drop the hammer and pull the slide off. Let's get this box out of the way here and get a cleaning mat. You don't have to have a cleaning mat, but it can make things a little bit easier and soak up any fluids that you might get from getting on the, maybe your table if you have to work inside or something like that. So we've got our two main pieces here. We have our frame and our slide with our barrel and recoil spring. We'll go ahead and start up here, and we're going to push forward on the recoil spring slightly and bring it down, and you can see it pops out. Now on this gun, it's a captured spring. Some handguns will have a guide rod and a spring separate. Just make sure that spring doesn't get away from you and go flying. You can see just by grabbing it, there's a little bit of a little bit of carbon buildup on there, a little bit of dirt. So you can just kind of wipe it clean, and that part's done. And then for the barrel, almost all tilt locking barrels on these newer polymer frame guns come out the same. You can lift it up a little bit, pull it out. Simple as that. Some guns you'll have to push them forward a little bit and then pull them out. But there you go. So there's the barrel, and here's our slide. Take a look in there. It's not too dirty. Okay, and then you can simply take a rag and just start wiping all this dirt and grime off of here. You can get a little pick or a toothbrush if you really want to get into these tight cracks. What usually works is if you just take a rag and kind of fold it over and run it down the crack there. You can see I got a little bit of gunk out of that side and some out of there. So then we'll take our finger and just kind of rub everything down in here, and then I'll show you the rag when I'm done. You can see all the stuff that came off of it. So there we go. Not too dirty, 400 rounds. These were just some reloads I had made. Pretty clean burning. So I'm just taking this rag and folding it into these creases here. One spot that can get pretty dirty is right around where the extractor is. Hopefully, yeah, you can see that there. Right around where this extractor is, you can get a lot of carbon buildup. So it can be beneficial to get something like this plastic hook pick here and just kind of work in this area and break any carbon loose that may be there. I have a little bit in here that's kind of built up, but it's really not that big of a deal. Like I said, if you want to get a toothbrush out and get this thing spotless, you definitely can. Just going to run this pick over this little bit of carbon buildup here to break it loose. And then I've got this plastic brush, kind of brush everything out. Not using any solvent on here at all. Let's see, looks pretty good inside there now. So that's pretty much it. As far as cleaning the slide, you can go more in depth and use some solvent if you really want to. If you haven't cleaned your pistol for a few thousand rounds, you may have to. That's pretty much it there. Go ahead and look inside our frame. Really not too dirty. It's mostly just a lot of oil. So take our rag, clean this whole area out here. Now some guns will have little springs that can get caught on your rag, like this little spring right here. See, I have my hook around that. So just be careful when you're running your hands back and forth through here that you don't snag anything and bend any springs or poke it into your finger or something like that. Just go ahead and push this rag into all these tight spots. Get all this stuff cleaned out and make sure that we get all this carbon out. Okay. Alright, so that's pretty clean in there. On this specific gun, carbon likes to build up down there in the mag well. So you can run a rag to the bottom there if you want to. So that's it for that. Go ahead and check out our barrel here. So you can see the outside of the barrel really doesn't get very dirty. Where you're going to get your buildup is on your feed ramp and around your lug up there. So first we'll wipe it down. See that feed ramp there? Just by pushing on it and kind of using my thumbnail through this rag, you can get all that carbon off. In most cases, as long as you keep your gun oiled before you shoot it, this buildup really won't stick that bad, and you won't have to use solvents. It'll all come off. So another part where you may want to use the pick is right around this lug here, and just kind of scrape around the edges, break anything loose that may be on there. And see if I can give you guys a look down the barrel. Still nice and shiny. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to clean the barrel though. Cleaning the barrel is very easy. Most of the time when you buy a handgun, it'll come with just a little brush there in the box, and that's fine to use, but I'm going to use a little kit that I have here, and you can get these kits at Walmart or Academy, literally anywhere. You can get these kits anywhere. I like to start with a bristle brush to break any deposits loose that may be in there. So we'll run it from the breech to the muzzle, if you can. Some firearms won't let you do that, but that's the way you always want to clean your barrel. It's from the breech to the muzzle, in that direction. Run this thing through here a couple times. Break all that stuff loose. Nice and shiny in there still. Then we'll take our brush off and put on a jag. And the jag is the piece that's going to push our patch through the barrel. We'll try 2 patches first. See if it goes through. You want it to be really, really tight fit. We got a little bit off of there. I like to put a dry patch through first to get all the loose stuff, and then we'll go ahead and use some of our hop solvent here. Just a little bit, because this gun really isn't that dirty, but I want to show you guys how to do it. So that's how I do it. Pour a little bit in the cap, get your patches, stick it down in there, get a little dab of it. Put it on our breech there. Push it through. And it looks like we got a little bit more gunk off since we used the solvent there. Right here I'm using 2 patches. If you feel like it's not a good enough, it's not tight enough, you can add another one there. You don't want to go too tight. So if you get it in past the chamber into the rifling and you really feel like it's not going anywhere, you might want to go ahead and pull it out. You don't want to mess anything up. So what I'm going to do is take this in my hand up like this and beat it down until that comes out. That was a really tight fit. Looks like we got all the rest of that nasty stuff off of there. So we're done with our solvent. We can go ahead and run a few dry patches through here, through the barrel to get rid of all the solvent. There's one. 2. And what you want to do is keep running these patches through until they come out clean or pretty close to clean. They're not going to be spotless. So anyway, you'll keep running those out until you don't have any deposits left or almost no deposits. And then it's up to you as far as what kind of oil you want to use. I like to use 1040 4-stroke engine oil, the kind that is rated for a wet clutch, like maybe a motorcycle or something, because it doesn't have any detergents like that in it. Or you can just use gun oil. So we're going to use gun oil for the average guy. And this will be our final pass. Put 2 of these patches together. A little bit of oil there in the middle. And we'll run this thing through to get a good coating of oil through the barrel. And that's it. So at this point, what we're going to do is put everything back together with a very light coat of oil. You can use a spray-on oil like rim oil that I have here, or you can use motor oil, or just regular old gun oil, and put a light coating on all of your gun's parts. One place that we're not going to put oil is in here on our trigger assembly or fire control group. And the reason why I don't put oil down in there is because it just attracts dirt, and stuff tends to stick to it, and then it gets really hard to clean it out. So for the most part from the factory, there's enough oil on all these little pieces to keep them lubed up for a while. If you do use oil in here, I would suggest a lightweight oil like this rim oil, because you can spray it on. So if you do get any little particulate matter in there, the action of just spraying it on there will loosen up all that old stuff, and you can wipe it off. So I'm not going to put any oil in there right now, but we'll start with our barrel here. Just kind of put a few streaks on the outside, and then up here on the chamber, on the lug a little bit. All these pieces that are going to see, metal to metal. And then I just take my finger and kind of smear it all around. You don't want a lot of oil where it's dripping wet. You just want enough to coat all the surfaces here. And then once you do that, you can set it down and kind of dab it a little bit, so it's not dripping wet. So there's our barrel. And then we'll take our slide, a little bit of oil along here, a little bit of oil in our rails, because this area sees a lot of metal to metal action. Drop it down in there, and then we can just kind of dab some here and there. Wipe it on with your finger real good. Give it a dab with the rag if you think you put a little too much. We can go ahead and reassemble this thing. So we're going to take our barrel, hold it at an angle, drop it in here, let it fall down, and then bring it back with your finger, and you'll feel it lock into place where you can't push it forward. You have to lift it up and out. So anyway, down, bring it back so it locks in place. Then we're going to take our recoil spring and very commonly you're going to use the smaller end to go forward. So you'll see you have a big end here in the rear and a smaller end. The smaller end is going to go up here, and then the bigger end you're going to push forward. See how I can compress this spring and it comes out the front? Compress forward and down and let it sit right on that lug there. And then we're going to put this slide on the gun. We're going to start at the front, slide it to right there, and then since this is a CZ, we're going to bring it back, align these marks, and drop in our takedown / slide release lever, and there it is. That's all there is to it. That's pretty much it. There's a basic field strip of a CZ P-09 and how to clean the insides. You can go more in depth if you really want to, but this is just a basic field strip here. So we're good to go. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. If you have any suggestions, or maybe if you have a gun that you want to see how to take down, then put it in the comments. Let me know. Thanks for watching.